Welcome to the LifeNet Health Biologics tutorial on the preparation of the Nexeon Decellularized Femoral Artery Graft. This procedure will take approximately 20 to 25 minutes to complete, so please plan accordingly in order to have the graft ready for implantation when needed. It is important to remember to always use aseptic technique and to prepare each graft separately to ensure glycerol removal from the graft. For this procedure, you will need the following sterile supplies. Remove the double pouch from the cardboard sleeve and inspect to ensure integrity. Do not use the graft if packaging is damaged. Verify graft type and expiration date on the label. Do not use the graft if the thermal dot appears to be a color other than white, or if the temperature dot is not present on the packaging. If the dot is red or pink, the graft has been exposed to excessive temperatures and should not be used. The sterile team member can now fill a 1-liter basin with 1 liter of isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Using a sterile 20 cc syringe, draw up 20 cc's of saline from this basin and place the syringe on the sterile table. Next, fill a 5-liter basin with 4 liters of isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Using 2 sterile 20 cc syringes, draw up 20 cc's of saline per syringe from the 5-liter basin and place syringes on the sterile table. A word of caution: ensure the solution temperature does not exceed 42 degrees Celsius for all solutions, as this may damage the graft. Remove the graft from the tray using a clamp to grasp the cannula and place the graft into the 1-liter basin of isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Push 20 cc's of saline gently through the cannulated end of the graft with the syringe. Gently hand stir the solution surrounding the graft for at least 1 minute. Using forceps, grasp the graft by the cannula and transfer it to the 5-liter basin containing 4 liters of isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Gently push 20 cc's of saline through the cannulated end of the graft using one of the remaining 20 cc syringes. Ensure the graft remains fully submerged in the 5-liter basin for 15 minutes with no agitation. If it floats, push more saline through it to remove air bubbles. The graft floating to the surface of the solution indicates the presence of air bubbles inside the graft. The presence of air bubbles can impede the ability to remove glycerol from the graft. Remove the air bubbles by drawing an additional 20 cc's of saline and push through the graft while the graft is fully submerged in the saline solution. At the end of the 15-minute static rinse, gently push 20 cc's of saline through the cannulated end of the graft with the other 20 cc syringe. Fill a 1-liter basin with 1 liter of fresh isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Using a sterile 20 cc syringe, draw up 20 cc's of saline from this basin and place the syringe on the sterile table. Using forceps, grasp the graft by the cannula and transfer it to the 1-liter basin with isotonic saline warmed to between 37 and 42 degrees Celsius. Gently push 20 cc's of saline through the cannulated end of the graft using one of the 20 cc syringes. Soak for 5 minutes with no agitation. Keep the graft fully submerged until needed. If it floats, push more saline through it to remove air bubbles. Prior to implantation, clamp the uncannulated end of the graft and infuse isotonic saline into the graft with a syringe via the lure lock to assess graft integrity. Perform leak testing under pressure. Inspect the ties for any loosening. Perform additional ligations or reinforcements as needed. When performing pressurization of the bioimplant to check integrity or valvular competency, do not overpressurize. This could damage the bioimplant. Remove the cannula prior to implanting the graft by cutting the graft at least 1 centimeter away from the end of the cannula barb. The graft is now ready for implantation. To recap, place the graft in a 1-liter basin of saline. Flush with a 20 cc syringe, then hand stir for 1 minute. Place the graft in a 5-liter basin containing 4 liters of saline. Flush with a 20 cc syringe. Soak for 15 minutes with no agitation, then flush again. Place the graft in a 1-liter basin. Flush with a 20 cc syringe, then soak for 5 minutes with no agitation. Perform leak testing under pressure. Finally, remove the cannula. The graft is now ready for implantation. Thank you for listening to this graft preparation tutorial. For any additional questions or to obtain a printed copy of these instructions, please contact your local LifeNet Health representative.